Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing great. Got a great story out of Zero Hedge, and the reason why I want to read it, I'm going to read the headline and we're going to go over it. German central bank. Gold revaluation account underlies soundness of balance sheet. Think about what that says. Let me know down in the comments what you think about that. Gold revaluation account underlies the soundness of the balance sheet. Let me explain something that a lot of people do not understand. Gold's value comes two different ways. Perceived value by people exchanging it, right? Buying, using dollars or euros or yen or whatever currency around the world to buy it, right? And that is based on value, perceived value. And it's the consensus of a bunch of people around the world. It comes mostly through the trading of derivatives on the stock exchanges, right? Around the world. The paper price of gold and silver is set. It is set every day by certain exchanges, but that changes through emotion, through news and things like that of traders. The other way it's done is through people buy rarity, like, not only am I buying the gold, but I'm buying a coin that's a little bit rarer than another, so I put more value on it. Or that I'm in a coin shop, I want it, it's an extra $10 than what it is, online. I want to grab it right now, or $20, I'm going to take it and put it in my possession. So it's all, again, perceived value. The other way that it makes its value known is by a ledger or a input on a balance sheet. And right now, the U.S. government states that gold is worth X. I want to say it's super, super low, like $50, something stupid, an ounce, on their balance sheet. They could instantly go, oh, you know what? We have all these gold reserves. You know what? We now value them at what the going rate is. Let's say $1,960 an ounce. And on their balance sheet, they would have this ballooning portion on their balance sheet. Well, other central banks know that governments can just change that. One famous time in history was when gold was quote unquote confiscated because it was made illegal to own or use through an executive order. And before then, it was a certain price. And then afterwards, about, I don't remember, 6 months or a year afterwards, they changed the stated price of gold. And it went from, I want to say, oh gosh, I'm blanking out on the numbers right now in my head, but it was in the $18 range, I want to say, per ounce, and then it got revalued at, like, I want to say $35 an ounce. Okay, I'm just going off the top of my head. Point being is that the government just straight up said, okay, it's now worth this much, which means we have now this much worth of gold in dollar terms, fiat dollar terms, in our account, so we can print this many more dollars, fiat crap dollars. So you can see where this is going. Check out this article. It says, at a press conference in early 2023, member of the executive board of the German central bank made clear that the soundness of the central bank's balance sheet in light of general losses is guaranteed by the bank's gold revaluation account. Merling's, I don't even know how to pronounce that name, testimony implies the bank is willing to use its gold revaluation account to cover losses. The president of, now this, I'm going to go somewhere a little different than this article, so you have to I'm reading between the lines here. The president of the Dutch central bank made a similar remark in November of 2022. These statements accentuate gold's role as a remedy regarding financial challenges created by boundless money printing. Like many central banks nowadays, the German central bank is performing at a loss. Many years of unconventional monetary policy made Bubba buy large amounts of German government bonds. Bubba is short for the Bundesbank, okay, of Germany. You're like, who's Bubba? Says here, now interest rates are rising. The interest paid by Bubba on its bank reserves. How would you like your name if you're a bank? We're going to come up with a bank name. Let's call it Bubba. No one's going to mess with Bubba. Liabilities exceed interest income on its bond portfolio, resulting in a loss that eats into the bank's capital buffers. A gold revaluation account, or the acronym, you love acronyms, GRA, is an accounting item on a liability side of a balance sheet, part of a net equity that records unrealized gains in gold assets. Simplified, when the gold price appreciates, a GRA, or gold reevaluation account, swells, and when the price depreciates, it contracts. It says because the gold is the only international currency that can't be printed, the gold price denominated in fiat currencies substantially increases in the long run, creating hefty unrealized gains when metal is held for an extended period. So think about that. You got the heads of these banks saying how important, right there, right in front of you, how important it is to have gold on your balance sheet. So why wouldn't you own gold in your personal portfolio? I think about this. And you want gold with no counterparty risk. You don't want paper shares. You want physical, either stored for you or you store it yourself. But my point being is they're telling you right there how important it is. And over time, how the price goes up. Always over the distance of time, the length of time, because fiat crap currencies are always being destroyed through inflation. Whether it be hyperinflation, heavy inflation like we're seeing right now, not hyper, but heavy, or just mild inflation. I mean, look, the Federal Reserve comes out and says, our mandate is to always destroy your currency at the rate of 2% per year. Think about that. We are here to always destroy your currency. That's why homes go up over time. Yeah, sure, they have crashes, right? And we want to take advantage of that. That's why the cost of a car will always go up over time. You are literally fighting an uphill battle. The only way to purchase things or certain things that will keep going up is sorry, I'm all over the map, but my point being is that banks are telling you over the term, gold is good to have. Now we're going to get a little bit more into this gold reevaluation, okay? Think of GRAs as a part of net equity, but shielded from functioning as capital. In the world of accounting, though, nothing is written in stone. Rules can be changed or circumvented, as the Central Bank of Curaçao and St. Martin did using its GRA in 2021. One could argue that using GRAs to absorb losses is only imprudent if there's a probability that the price of gold can fall below the historic purchasing price. Many European central banks, like Bundesbank or BUBA, bought their gold during Bretton Woods for $35 per fine troy ounce. How would you like to have owned, type 1 if you wish you would have bought gold at $35 an ounce, or even in the year 2000 if you would have just paid $250 an ounce for your gold. That would have been really nice. It says here, it wouldn't be a sin for Bubba to use its GRA to give you an idea of the Bundesbank gold financials. This is what I think people aren't paying attention to. At any point, any of these central banks could turn around and say, you know what? We believe, and this is what I believe is going to happen with the what's it called? Come on, Ninja. The BRICS banks. They're going to come out and say, we all agree together, multiple countries, because you can't do it with just one or two countries. It has to be a bunch of countries together. Say, we believe now the value of gold is at $5,000 or $10,000 an ounce. And we are going to treat it as such. Which means we're essentially going to lock down our gold unless anybody wants to buy it from us at $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever price they come up with. They've locked down the gold, and they're going to do it at a certain point where they know the gold is pretty much out of the U.S.'s hands because they want to destroy the U.S. Then it is going to cause their credit ratings to rise because a lot of them are going to be able to prove, they're going to be able to prove, which I don't believe the U.S. can prove their gold holdings. There's a reason why they have not let anybody in Fort Knox, and the only people that have come out and they don't say anything about the amount of gold in there. I believe, I mean, can you imagine just a photo? Like, think about this. So like, oh, we don't want it because of security concerns. Like, the ECB has no problem showing your gold. The Bank of England, China, Russia, they're showing you pictures of their leaders holding these big old bricks of gold. You've never seen that come out of America. And the world knows this. Germany knows it more than anyone because they sent that delegation of people over, in 2014, 2015, to see why the Federal Reserve said it's going to take up to 7 years for us to give you your gold back that they put on loan with us during World War II. What they're going to do is they're going to turn around and revalue gold. And it is going to cause a shockwave like you wouldn't believe. It is going to strike fear in so many traders' minds and hearts because they're not going to know which way's up. And this similar thing happened when the U.S. revalued gold from in the teens, $18 to $35 an ounce. So you are going to see, if I have those numbers right, sorry. But my point being is that you are going to see this. And the U.S. gave all these countries a great learning lesson through history that this can be done, and it's going to cause their balance sheets to swell, look a lot better, and the U.S. to look really bad. So look, I own gold. I own silver more than gold. I love silver, but I do it for a reason. I'm not doing it to go become rich. I'm doing it to save my butt financially. That's it. I'm not telling you to go buy it. It's not financial advice. I'm just a dude with a bro hawking a dream. But I think that dream is literally about being on top when everyone else is failing. And I want you to be on top as well. So you just need to look into it. Just look into the history of this. All right, with that being said, the Economic Ninja is out.